So, that's the opening of the book. I want to tell you a little bit about how it came together, because it often, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, where do your ideas come from? Where do your novels start? And more often than not, novels for me start from a very real place. Something will happen in my life or in the lives of people around me, and my novelist brain will kick in, and I'll always think, I wonder what would have happened if. And so often my novels are me asking questions of the world and trying to figure out the answers. So the thing that happened to me that made me think, I wonder what would have happened if. I just want you to cast your minds back to the end, around this time, 3 years ago, 2016. So I just put out a book called The Good Immigrant. It came out in 2016, and it was a huge success. And the really exciting thing about putting out a book about the lives of immigrants in Britain was we got to carve out some space for people from those backgrounds to actually have these conversations rather than just press and politicians talking about what it was to be an immigrant in this country. And I got to tour the country. So I got to take a lot of trains from Bristol, where I live, to Edinburgh, to Manchester, to Cardiff, to Brighton, to London. And I spent a lot of time on trains, and I would spend a lot of time coming home on trains quite late at night. So trains kind of became like my office, my safe space, my sanctuary, my mode of transportation. And there was one night, so I'd had these sweatshirts made up that said "The Good Immigrant" on them, okay? And there was one night where I was coming back from London at 11:30 p.m. It's the last train from London to Bristol. It ends up in Swansea, and it hits Bristol at like 1:30 in the morning. And I needed to stay awake because I don't want to end up in Swansea, because then it's very hard to get back from Swansea at 2 in the morning. So I'm wearing my Good Immigrant jumper, and I'm watching a really rubbish action film on my laptop just to kind of stay awake. And at Reading, the train empties out and the carriage is suddenly very empty, which is weird because I noticed that I was the only one on the carriage. And that's quite an unusual thing at that time. So I'm watching my film, I'm the only one on the carriage. And then not long after we leave Reading, I suddenly feel this presence near me. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a room where you think you're the only one in the room, and then you suddenly realise there's someone else there, and you feel that, ooh, that shiver down your spine. It's horrible, isn't it? To suddenly realise you're not alone. I suddenly realised that there were 3 men, one sitting right in front of me, one sitting next to me, one sitting behind me on this empty carriage. They could have sat anywhere else, but they choose to sit next to me. And they're all shout-talking at each other, and they're all swigging from their beer cans. And I feel quite intimidated because they've taken my space. This is my space. This is my part of the train. You've got the rest of this carriage. Why have you taken my space? So I'm a little shook, right? So I just mute the film just for a second, just to sort of see what they're shouting about. And I mute the film for a second, and I realise that they're talking about me. Not only are they talking about me, but they're talking about wanting to beat me up. Not only are they talking about me, and not only are they talking about wanting to beat me up, but they're talking about wanting to beat me up because they hate what my jumper says, the good immigrant. And not only are they talking about me and wanting to beat me up and not liking what my jumper says, they're talking about how I am brown-skinned and therefore I don't deserve to be so proud. Why is he so proud? How dare he? How dare he wear such a jumper? How dare he? We need to teach him a lesson. We need to teach him a lesson. And in this moment, I don't know what you guys would have done. I don't know what you would have done out there. I'm not level 6 Krav Maga, karate, kung fu, self-defense. I don't know how to fight. The only fights, up until this point, the only fights I've ever been in my life, it would be unfair to call them fights. They were pretty one-sided. But all I wanted to do in this moment was just stand up, walk away, change carriages. That's all. Find another carriage where there are people. That's all I need to do. Stand up, walk away. Stand up, walk away. Part of me starts thinking you shouldn't have worn this jumper, which is a problematic thing to think, right? Because why should I have to change my behaviour in order to accommodate other people? If you start policing what people wear, policing what you wear in order to be accommodating to other people, you're sort of policing your own identity. But all I need to do is just stand up and walk away, but I can't do it. I freeze. So like, I can feel myself like shrinking, like they're taking up more and more of my space, and I'm like pressing my cheek into the window of the, what's it called, the train. And I'm like pressing the back of my back and the back of my head into the seat. I'm trying to make myself as small as possible. I'm trying to disappear into the seat because I don't want to be here. I don't want for them to suddenly attack me. I just want them to not see me anymore, because nothing in me would just stand up and walk away. That's all I need to do, just stand up and walk away, but I can't do it. And you know what? The thing that saves me is there's CCTV on the carriage, and so they decide, allow it, leave this guy. So they got off at the next stop and they go about their day. Now, I guarantee you, they forgot about that conversation 5 seconds after it happened. But for me, it's now in my head. And the entire time I'm thinking, that was my fault. I could have dealt with that better. That was my fault. It was my fault for being racially abused. It was my fault. Now, also, nothing happened. I didn't get beaten up. I didn't get threatened. I just heard 3 people very casually talking about beating me up. So actually, there shouldn't be much of a problem, right? And, you know, when I tell people about this incident later, they're just like, they're just a bunch of idiots. It's just an isolated incident. What? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing happened to you. You're fine. You're fine. And the thing that happens when people tell you that you're fine in these moments is they're ultimately telling you it doesn't matter.